Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film another bookish video. So basically, if you can tell by the title, I'm just going to talk about different tropes or just things in general that I do not like in books. So yeah, if you like that type of content, oh, I forgot to introduce myself properly. My name is Chi-Chi. I like makeup, fashion, reading, things along that nature. So if you like that type of content, then don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So I'm just gonna start talking now. For every single thing that I mentioned, I'm gonna give an example book and an example of that thing in the book so that you can get a better visual. Okay, anyway, I hate when the main character acts recklessly and it's named as an act of selflessness, but in reality she's literally just being reckless. Because now I just feel like I'm a terrible person. I'm reading the book and I'm like, why the hell are you doing this? Are you stupid? Stick to the plan. But it's oh, I'm being selfless, we can't leave her behind. Bye. The example book for this is A Court of Wings and Ruin. So basically they went to King Hybern's camp. They were supposed to save Elaine. That was their only mission. That was the only thing they were supposed to do. And obviously at this point, Fair knows how important she is and how she can't just be risking her life. They're in the middle of a war and she's important. It's not a game at this point. Thousands of lives are at stake. Cost-benefit analysis. The cost... Wait, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, tell me why she just randomly decided to save this girl that she never even met. And it's not even oh, we need to save her she might have intel type thing. No, she just saw a random person. The pros did not outweigh the cons at all. At a point, we just need to start being realistic with our time, with our energy, with our efforts, because this honestly was not worth it. And in the end, she didn't even have any intel, nothing. I was very frustrated while reading it, and I was if you actually die or get injured from this, I was just gonna be good for you. Honestly, you deserve it because I don't know why the hell you went back. But yeah, that's that. Next, when the main character admits that she loves someone, but she's barely had the confidence to materialize that thought in her own head, it just feels very ingenuine to me as I'm reading it. I'm why are you professing your undying love in such a poetic way when you couldn't even admit it to yourself? It just doesn't make sense. The example book for this one is Dance of Thieves. Basically it just felt really rushed to me. Okay, obviously as the reader, I can already tell okay, I think she loves him at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. Basically, the reason that it was so hard for her to admit it was because a future with him was very uncertain and the uncertainty didn't disappear, said that she loved him. And the way she did it was so poetic, bro. I'm did you rehearse this?
I love you, bitch.
Oh my God.
I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
And in front of people. I'm you couldn't even say it to yourself. If they were by themselves, it would be a little bit more understandable. And if it was another forced proximity type of situation, then it would also make more sense. If they were put, because, I don't know. The way that it was done, I was this doesn't feel right. Something feels wrong. Next, I hate when the main character does not act her age. It's just so ew. It's just so ew. So the example for this is in 1,000 Boy Kisses. The way that her character was described, she just seemed like such a child. She was literally in high school wearing bows and side buns. And I'm just reading this thinking are you JoJo Siwa? No offense to JoJo, I'm sure she's a great person, but you can get what I'm trying to get at if you can get what I'm trying to get at. Do you get it? She was always described as small, she's so short in comparison, and she has bows, and the way that she's she has a very optimistic outlook on life, which is good, but at times it can also be seen as a little bit childlike. It's good to have that childlike wonder with the world, but coupled with the way that she was also described as a child, I'm this is weird. And keep in mind, she was in her senior year of high school.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next one is when the main character has an insufferable inner monologue. Oh my God. So the example for this one is The Spanish Love Deception. Yeah, I could not stand her inner monologue, especially because she was literally pushing 30 years old. This woman was 28. Also could have been an example for when the main character doesn't act their age, because she did not act her age. But moving on, she was acting like a dumbass, thinking like a dumbass, living like a dumbass. I'm are you a dumbass? I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just bro, some of the things that confused her would have been so glaringly obvious to anybody with a brain. You're sitting on this man's lap, constantly readjusting yourself and surprised that you feel something hard. Come on, girl. Basic anatomy. The same guy asks you to be his date, dance with him, and at the end of the night he tells you that he's not interested in being your friend. When he tells you that being friendly is the last thing on his mind, you literally take personal offense. But he likes you. He likes you. He doesn't want to be your friend because he likes you. Like, it's just, why would he do all that stuff if he didn't like you? If he wanted to be your friend, why would he do all that stuff? If he wanted to be your friend, why would he ask you on a date? I guess I could also say I hate when the character's stupid, but it's like, if you're stupid, obviously your inner monologue is going to be stupid as well. I don't know. Like, if she was 14, I could have forgiven it, but at her big age, I'm gonna read this like exactly how I wrote it. Literally, why the hell would Aaron drive you home, buy you 5 tacos instead of 4, say things like, come on, Lena, open those big brown eyes for me, please, or fly across the country to help you save face and meet your family if he hated you? I can understand the grudge that she held against him, but there comes a time where you have to grow up and be realistic. It was even more annoying to me because all the recommendations I saw for the book were saying it was a true enemies to lovers and that you should read it for that reason, but it was the furthest thing from that. Aaron was in love with her the whole time and it was so obvious. So all the scenes where he did something cute would never give what they were supposed to give because I so badly wanted Aaron's actions to validate Lena's inner monologue. Obviously they never did because her perception of reality was so painfully incorrect. Does that make sense? That and that reason alone is why I hate the Spanish love deception so much. On top of the fact that at her big age, she was acting like she was 14. Anyway, I hate insta-love, but I feel like everybody does. The example I'm going to use for this is The Darkest Temptation, but I don't know if it's right for me to call this love. I'm really just referring to like any type of action in general. In the first 5 or 6 chapters, they had already made out and he made her come twice. And it sucked because the slow burn was done well in the first and second books. On an unrelated note though, I did not finish the book because I really didn't want to see a redemption arc for Ronan's character. I just hated him. I hated everything about it. There was literally nothing he could have done to make me like him after he sent that video to her dad because what? No, like what?
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call.
That's such a that's such a violation. That's such a violation. That's such a violation. Anyway, okay, next we have miscommunication. The first example that comes to my head is the After series. Yeah. I only read this book because it was going to be turned into a movie, and the book is always better than the movie. The book was better than the movie, but the book was disgusting. So imagine how bad the movies were. But the only reason I read the second book was because of the huge cliffhanger on the first book, and the only reason I read the third book was because of the huge cliffhanger at the end of the second book, but I could not finish the third book. Like, it was just getting ridiculous, so redundant, back and forth, miscommunication. Oh, I'm gonna cheat on you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I only did it because I thought you did this. Well, I didn't do this. Oh, well, I love you. Okay, back together. Then the same thing happens again. And the same thing happens again. The same thing happens again. Like, are you not tired? Also, I read the Wattpad versions, not the published versions, so maybe the plot is dramatically improved, but the ones that I read were... Even at the young age of 15, I knew that these college graduates were just embarrassing themselves because a simple conversation would have saved their relationship every single time. Okay. Oh my goodness. Another thing I hate is when there's so much filler because of world building. The example that comes to mind is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. So the second book to the From Blood and Ash trilogy. Actually, I think there's a 4th book coming out. The entire second half of the book was literally just homework. It was way too much. The only reason I did not finish it was because I had just DNF'd A Court of Silver Flames and I didn't want to quit another book so soon. Okay, you're going on vacation to this resort, right? So you're so excited, building the hype, you know, you're packing your bags, you're driving to the airport, you know, getting on the plane, you land in their destination, then you have to like drive from the airport to the resort. Oh my gosh, you're almost there, it's almost time. You're at the resort, you're checking into your rooms, your luggage is getting sent up, and you're about to go into the elevator to go to your room, and just before you enter the elevator, the book ends.
So we don't have the capacity.
Keep in mind, at the end of the first book, the last, I would say third, it was like, okay, we need to go to this place. The last third of the first book. So you're reading the last third of the first book, all of the second book. You still haven't arrived? Can you imagine how disrespected I felt? Reading that whole book, and they hadn't even gotten to the right place. Don't even do that to me. Anyways, moving on. Okay, another thing I hate is when the plot is just like forgone because the main characters are no longer enemies. Like if it's an enemies to lovers book, right? You know. So the example that I think of is The Hating Game. Apparently there's an epilogue that was released, so But the version of the book that I read, it didn't have the epilogue. So obviously, I was like, where is my closure that I need? Also, if you watch the movie, there's closure in the movie, but the book that I read, there was no closure. Okay, I don't know what happened. I don't know how it ended. There was no ending. Don't leave that stuff up for interpretation. Finish the damn book. All you needed to give me was like 2 or 3 more chapters. We would have been fine. What is this rubbish? Basically, I'm gonna read this as I wrote it, okay? But it just feels very lazy to me. This wouldn't even be an issue if the entire book was character driven. This is me talking about The Hating Game. And yeah, it's a romance book, so it's like mostly character driven, but you can't ignore the fact that there is actually some semblance of a plot in the book. The whole interview that Josh and Lucy were preparing for was just dropped. Like the whole plot line was just ignored, cut off, dead end.
Clean with a pull up. Oh. Wow. Never mind.
They love each other now and they don't want to compete. I still wanted to know if Lucy got the job or not without Joshua there as competition, because I'm pretty sure there were 2 other contestants, and honestly, I half expected Danny to be one of them, but okay. Also, the character who played Danny in the movie, I feel like that was perfect casting. Josh, I didn't like his casting. I didn't like the casting for Josh, and he smiled way too much in the film. He smiled way too much, but moving on. That is unrelated to the point. I'm sorry, I got off topic. Anyway, the last line of the book was literally her saying, let the games begin. Let the real games begin. But then the book ended. What? What? Oh, I get it. It's called The Hating Game. Let the real games begin, because they don't hate each other anymore. But you can't say that and then just end the book. Oh, that felt like a slap on the face. Anyway, I hate when there's a plot twist. What was that sound? Okay, I hate when there's a plot twist that's like constantly foreshadowed throughout the whole entire book, and then it just ends up being so underwhelming. I'm like, that was it. That was the big thing. Come on now. It just didn't get, it never gives, it doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the way that it's supposed to hit. I'm just so disappointed, you know? Okay, so my example for this is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I'm gonna also read this exactly how I wrote it, because this is kind of a long point. So I was like, ew, literally the whole book was Elliot groveling for Macy's forgiveness, and they obviously needed to have a talk about what happened between them in the past, right? But every time it gets brought up, she's always thinking about how even if she'd forgive him, could he forgive her after finding out what she did and all that stuff. The whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, damn, like, what could she have done? Like, obviously this is a big thing. But yeah, so basically, let me tell you what happened. He cheated on her while drunk, and her dad happened to die in the same night. So obviously she didn't tell him what happened about her dad, because she just left and she never came back. That was it. She was like, I'm not, like, the same thing as me. I'm like, why do I need to talk to you for? Like, okay, noted. That's it. I'm never speaking to you again. If you want to come groveling for my forgiveness, that's fine, that's your business, but I'm not talking to you anymore. That would have been me too. I would have done exactly what Macy did. So that's why I was like, why are you feeling so guilty? I would not feel guilty. Are you crazy? Anyway, and she had assumed that he would have heard about her dad, because obviously, like, they're friends, their parents are friends, but realistically, like, she doesn't have a mom. It's really just her and her dad. So if her dad's not going to talk to his parents, who's going to tell his parents about her dad? I mean, you know, and they live in a different town. They only come up there for weekends. They only ever see each other on the weekends. Obviously, she's not going back to her weekend home. Her dad's not driving her up there. She's not going up there for no reason. Her boyfriend cheated on her, so what's she going up there for? You know, they never saw each other again, basically. But yeah, she feels guilty for not telling him herself about her dad, and that's what the big thing was, that she didn't tell him herself that her dad died on the same night that he cheated on her. She was obviously going through a lot of distress. I think the last thing on her mind would have been to tell. Anyway, that's all the points that I had. That's all the things that I hate. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video, you know, comment your favorite book. Comment what other types of videos you want to see. I'm not only going to make book videos. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, bye.